Hey guys, it's me, Phil, from Harley Games. You know what I want to do? I want to keep making but yeah, as I was saying, so we built the skeleton, or we're gonna build the skeleton. So we're gonna kind of speed run through some things because we're just gonna be basically generating some placeholder maps and then laying down our events, quickly testing to make sure that it works properly, and then moving on, laying down small maps, mechanics, events, etc. Hopefully until we've got the whole thing out. Oh, another thing too. So I spent a little bit of time going over my design document a bit. Now, there were some changes that I had made, when we talked about it in the very first stream. I was thinking, oh, we'll have, the three side characters, you can choose whatever class they have. Realized that immediately blew up the scope and the work that I'd have to do to implement that into the game. And although it would have been interesting for you guys, maybe we can look at it. um we can do sort of bonus streams once we finish the game and be like, oh, what would I do to implement this kind of mechanic, and we can walk through that stuff. But anyway, but I didn't want to just delete it. I want to think about this with your game design document, right? Think about of it as a way of preserving your work, rather than just deleting it. Put a strike through it, so to ignore that. But you can look back, because you might even change your mind later on down the road and go, oh, I remember that idea that I had that I thought was too much, and now I realize I could very easily implement this, so let's bring it back. So don't ever throw out your ideas. Just keep them to the side, because they may serve as inspiration for your next game. You don't know. And it's cool just to see the progress that you've made, the changes that your game has gone through. I need to do that. Sometimes I wish I didn't delete notes. Well, that's I've done it too. I'm not, it's, yeah. And because it's so easy with digital media, right? To just be like, oh yeah, bye bye, delete. Whereas, back when we were working on pen and paper, you'd cross it out, or you'd just put that piece of paper to the side, potentially collecting it in a file for 10 years. So yeah, try to treat your notes like that. You can see that progress, because see, like this, this idea of tackling the temples in any order, we've scrapped that. There are some things that I did completely delete here, but that's because these numbers weren't relevant anymore. I reworked the numbers to figure out actually how many enemies I'd have to create, and actually how many skills I'd have to create, now that I've changed the way you progress through the game. Because before it was you could do the temples in any order, which meant I had to create enemies levels 1 through 9 for every single enemy type. Whereas now, those enemy types are restricted to the temple that they're in, so they only a certain level. So I think before it was 160 enemies. We've reduced that now to only 40 enemies. So there'll be 16 enemies that I create, and then there'll be copies of those enemies with higher level stats. Because in the base engine, there's no way to essentially create like a level scaling system for your enemies, not without a lot of work. There are plugins that do that very easily. So that's definitely a better way to go. But if you're being stubborn and you want to only work in the base engine, just be aware that if you want, one enemy type to be there from levels 1 through 5, you've got to create 5 copies of that enemy with the relevant stats for each level plugged in. I never have less than 3 clipboards within arm's reach. I still love my pencil and paper notes, and that's awesome. If I if I had the space, there's definitely something that can, pros and cons either way. As always, do what works for you. Do whatever you need to do that's going to get you to your end goal. Plus, having like paper notes and stuff. Well, even my digital notes. It's either way, make sure you're taking notes of how you're making your game. Because if you don't, you got nothing to look back on for how you made the thing. Because it's kind of cool. Like every now and then, I have a Trello page for Cow Night, and I look through all the ideas that I've got, and reading them makes me excited to want to jump back in and start working on that project again. But yeah, so we did that for the enemies. So yeah, we went from 160 enemies to only 40 enemies now. And that's going to be a lot. Yeah, so that saved a lot of work. And then for the skills, originally we had, I think it was one skill for each enemy, and then depending on which how many temples you'd beat, the number of skills for the enemy increased. So that's different now. I can't remember how many skills. Again, I should have kept the numbers there so you could see. I think it was 80 skills or something. Might have been more than that. Would have been a lot of skills. We've reduced that now, and this is also including the boss skills, which I didn't include in the skill count before. But yeah, so all the skills of all the enemies plus the bosses, it's going to total 64 skills. So that's a lot, but it's not crazy amount. And I was able to reduce some of the skills because the Sky Temple enemies are going to essentially be enemies that can use earth, water, and fire skills. But they'll also have a couple of unique skills of their own. So instead of having to do a full, because we were going 2, 3, 4, it's not 5 skills, we've reduced that because they're going to recycle skills from previous enemies. Yeah. So, did a little bit of number crunching. Fixed up the design doc a little bit, and so now I know that the work that I have to do isn't as overwhelming. All right, that's enough chit chat. Let's get into our mapping. Should we do yeah, we'll do a little progress check for those that haven't seen. That's loud. So we've got our text scroll with our parallax background. We've got our tutorial. Tells me what I need to do first. Got our hub town. This is so loud. We've got our hub town. We can't go anywhere because we need to go see the king. We go and see the king. He says, "You fool! You can't seek this treasure by yourself. You need a party. Party. So now we can head over here. Go to the bar. Oh, who are these fine people? Let's talk to them. We got the cleric. He joins our party. We got the rogue. He thinks we're a cop. We've got the mage. Joins the party. Now we've got our full party. But we have no money. And we have no gear. We have no money, we have no gear. The king tells us as much. We tell him we're broke. He gives us money. He gives us what we need to get into the Earth Temple. So then, with our money, we can buy ourselves... We've got enough there to fully equip each party member, and also buy 4 potions. If the player chooses to do that, they might only buy weapons and then decide to head off on their quest. You can do whatever you want. And then we need to head over to the Earth Temple, and that's where we are right now. So we need to start building our Earth Temple maps. So we need an entryway. We're not making it so that when you walk on the tile, you go straight into the temple. We have the Earth Gem, right? So we want it so that that there's a door that you've got to interact with. So you'll see the outside, just the outside of the temple. You know, maybe there's a little bit of an area that you can explore to find some treasure to make it a bit more interesting. But Earth Temple entrance, and it's going to say Earth Temple in the display name. We're again placeholder maps, so we're not going to bother changing any of this. We want it to be outside, obviously. Perhaps we'll make it silent as you approach the Earth Temple. We have maybe a bit of background noise. Oh, are you kidding me? Is my... I tried... You can't hear what I'm saying right now. What? What's going on? Is my thing bugged? No. Okay, why isn't that playing? Alright. Let me... I think because I had this open since last night. The sound... So the sound disconnected from my whoozy what's its. Okay, let's try that again. So, oops, not an event. We want a map. So, and you'll notice, so I'm clicking on the world map and adding the map here so that it falls down underneath the world map section and doesn't nest itself under any of these other maps, because that would be annoying. But you know, you can easily move it out of there. But Earth Temple entrance, or let's just say entry. Earth Temple outside. All right, let's try this again. There we go. Maybe we have a really low wind sound that you can barely hear. So in this temple entry, no, there's not going to be any encounters. You're not gonna. It's going to be a safe area. You know, it's not until you get into the temple that the monster's going to start attacking you. So, because this part here specify battle back, this is how you tell the game that when I enter into a battle in this specific map, this is the background that I'm going to have during my battle. If you don't specify anything, it just does a out of focus background of wherever you currently are on the map, which isn't very interesting and doesn't look very good. So you definitely want to take advantage of the battle backs, and there's a big combination of things you can do, but we'll leave that for now. And we don't want to parallax, so that's fine. So there we go. We have our Earth Temple entry. We're going to build this out real quick. So remember, up here we've got our map editing mode and our event editing mode. So early. Yeah, how early is it for you, trailer? Thank you for coming. So we're in the forest. We've got grass. We want the entrance to our temple. It's made of brick, but not this brick. Yeah. What does it look like? Yeah, it's like grey stone. So to keep in theme with that, we'll um, what am I doing? Let's color in. It's like a round tower, right? So we'll do something like that. We don't need to get more complicated than that. We've got a path, but it's like a worn path, so it's kind of broken up. 4 p.m. Oh, yes, earlier than usual for you, but somewhat at a reasonable time. Oh yeah, no, chef. So you're just waking up. Okay. Thoughts on Tim Hortons? What's that? Well, clearly you know that I have no thoughts on Tim Hortons because I don't know who that is. So we've got our different doors here again. So the door that we're going to use for the temple entrance is going to be like this stone door that's there. So we don't want. Well, I want this to be the entrance, not this with this little. I mean, technically, we're looking at the shadows. That kind of makes more sense, but because it's a straight door that just lifts up, this to me makes more sense. What's that? It's just black. Um, cool. So we've got our entrance. Let's. It's the forest temple, so gonna have lots of trees. Lots of trees. Oops, wrong side. Yeah, I did say placeholder maps, so I could actually be doing much less than what. Like I could have just done that, but I also like to still make them look a bit nice. Also, give me an idea of what I'll be working with. Um, uh, when I actually try to map it out properly. Um, oh, I shouldn't have put all those trees down. You want? Yeah, look at that. Yeah, that looks bad. Look, sneaky trick. I'm gonna chuck down a tree. Oops. I'm gonna chuck down a tree like this. Then I'm gonna copy that tree. And now, when I paste that in, we're gonna get what we want. Um, Almost. Oh, there we go. Let's do that. Oops. Cool. And it doesn't work. That's fine. Doesn't matter. Placeholder. Placeholder, Phil. I don't drink coffee, so the place is pretty pointless. It's also owned by an American company, so Canadians can't even be proud of the place. What made you... Northern Line also hates it. Okay. Can we decorate this a little bit more? Look at that. We can chuck some mossy pillars in. We can have a broken one. Another broken one. And a rock there. And a rock there. Wow, look at that. Just so very quickly. Oh, look, we can even tuck these weathered banners in. Anyway, doesn't matter. Let's quickly Canadian budget Starbucks, Tim Horton Cafe. Okay. Have you ever been to a Tim Hortons, Coco? All right, so now we want to make some transfer events. Let's copy the one that we made here and just paste it over there, because that'll give us the move sound that we want. We go into the Earth Temple, transfers you to, we don't need those notes. That was an example note to show what you can do with the notes. Also, guys, this is something that I haven't really covered either because I haven't had to do it much in my games, usually because they're small enough that it doesn't matter. But there are games that I've started and that I'm going to come back to, and that when I come back to them, I may get lost. But kind of like with programming, you can put in, where is it? Comments, right? Um, this moves the player, right? These comments, if you're being a good game dev, a thorough game dev, and if you're ever hoping to bring people on to your project, this is going to be important for you to put comments that tell people what your events are doing and to tell you what your events are doing. Because if you start a project, do something really complicated in an event, don't leave any comments, go away, come back, you might come back and go, what is this doing? This is probably more relevant for like back end stuff, like common events that you're setting up, because generally events that you've got in your game, if you're not sure what they do, you could just play your game and watch the event play out, and then you go, oh, that's what that does. Nope, Aussie Cafe's #1, dang straight. I got my donut fix from a place called Duffin's. It's open 24 hours and sells donuts, sandwiches, fried chicken, Chinese food, and ice cream. It's kind of a weird combination of things to sell. Like, I'm always a bit wary when like a restaurant or a place, their menu is like full of different cuisines, because it usually means that they're not an expert in any of those things. They've just tried to diversify to give people as many options, jack of all trades, master of none. So it usually means you're probably going to have pretty mid to low tier food. Unless, they're just some kind of hidden gem. But wait, is this an extra stream, or are we still having the stream tomorrow? No, there's no what's today? Friday? There's no stream on Saturday. Oh, did I confuse you? Today's the extra stream. Oh, you're maybe in the middle of your days or something. This might still be the same day for you. Yeah, the stream that you saw yesterday for me was yesterday. It is now, so it was Thursday for me yesterday. Yeah. So it was Thursday for me yesterday. Today, right now as I'm streaming, it's Friday morning. So that's probably why there's a bit of an overlap. Everyone should spam comments on their games. Julie, can they also be soccer? Spam comments on their games? Whose games? Wait, I'm confused. What did I miss? Oh, right. Oh, I'm talking about comments. Oh my gosh. I always think, everything you guys are talk about is like completely removed from what I'm doing. You have to remember what Aussie streamers, our viewers are from the past. I know, it's such a burden constantly living in the future. But yes, spam comments. So yeah, Coco means, and he knew what he was meaning. You all knew what he meant. I'm saying this for my own sanity. Yeah, spam comments on your games. It will help you in the long run. Are we going to do it while I'm making this game? Probably not. I should get into the habit of doing it. It is a little bit of extra work because they don't make it easy to do. Like you've still got to add like a whole thing, do that. Remember what you're adding a comment for. Like you can't, you need to pull this out of the way, comment here, blah, 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 blah. It's a whole thing. But anyway, so we're going into the Earth Temple. We've got our move sound effect, which is why I didn't just use it, create new event one. We want it to go to the Earth Temple entry and teleport us there. And that's fine. And that will happen on player touch. Cool. So now we want to approach the temple door. Let's just do a quick event creation door. Oh, actually, no, not yet. Let's create our first inside the Earth Temple map. So again, while the Earth Temple entry is selected, we'll select new. We'll go Earth Temple G for GF for girlfriend. For ground floor. Do we communicate to the player that they're on the ground floor? Why not? GF, ground floor. So we are going to start using a different tile set. We had the inside tile set that we used for the insides of our shops and the castle and things, but now we want to choose the dungeon tile set. You don't have to. You could, if you want your dungeon to look like the inside of a house, because you like the tile sets that are on there, then obviously pick that. But for our purposes, we want dungeon looking tile set because it'll also have different decorations and things as well. Yes, you guys are the future. So inspiring, trailer. Trailer, I'm actually you from the future. This is what you look like in a day's time. Don't ask me how you get here. Autoplay. So we want the background noise to stop. We want some funky dungeon music. Is that funky? Turn it down. Hair. Oh my god, I get hair. What if right now I was just like, sorry bro, it's a wig, and I just literally just pulled my hair off. Right off my head. Look, I don't like this. I mean, it kind of works when it's lower pitch. It's just so harsh instrumentation. Maybe quieter. Okay. So we've got our dungeon music. Now, we could specify the battle back. You might not know what you want to do for the battle back yet because you haven't actually made the map or the dungeon. But you get a general idea. So we want it's a stone temple, but there's grass walls. I don't know. It doesn't look that great. Anyway, we'll just do that for now. Oh, also there's a feature here where you can disable dashing. So if you hold down the shift key, you can run in the game. You can make it so that players can never run. You can disable that completely in your whole game. I can't remember where you do that, but yeah. But yeah, if for a specific map, say it's You know, one where you have dialogue playing while you walk through, so you want it to be a bit of a walking simulator. You could disable dashing, say maybe it's a scary area where you want to, you know, the monsters to chase the player, but you don't want them to be able to outrun them. You disable dashing. You know, there's a bunch of reasons why you might want to do that. Yeah, it could even just be story-wise. You walk into an area and the main character's like, "Oh, the energy here is so like intense and the spiritual pressure is so high." And then, you know, you can't dash while you have to walk through the area, and it again conveys that idea. Lots of things you could do. Cool. So we've got that. Again, we're not messing with anything. We're just going to build a very placeholder map. Like it's literally just going to be, um, where's the floor? You know, it's literally going to be entrance, exit, room. Um, seeing we could have these forest walls. It kind of looks ugly. But these inside walls, you could have some sections be the forest coming through. Oh yeah, look at that. So fancy. Look, it's so forest temple-y. Oops, not that. Where's our boy? Follow that in. Um, and oops. What am I doing? Right, could be like that. Now we're going up to a higher level, so we probably want a staircase. There we go, stairs leading up to the next level of the temple. You know, does this make sense? Should we actually have a staircase that goes to the left and to the right? Could be. You know, maybe we slap that over there, put it in the corner or something. So yeah, so you can see there's different things now that you can select to decorate your dungeons with. You know, so we got these pillars. This one's broken with that over there. Should the walls be 2 squares to make the building look longer? Yes. Again, placeholder, but yeah, we can definitely do that. Longer, longer, longer. Longer, longer, longer. Longer, longer, longer. And yeah, so we got our staircase, we got our walls. I hate how symmetrical I've made this look. Where's the asymmetry? Where's the asymmetry? There we go. That's a bit better. Yeah, you know, get jazzy with it. Okay, again, placeholder, not a big deal. Some broken tiles. Wow, what a temple. What a temple. So now that we've got our first room, we can create our door. So you don't have to do it this way. You could create your door and then just change where it teleports you to later after you've made the map. I like to do it this way just so that way like I can do it all in one go. So we're using this door, this cool stone door that's going to lift up. And we're telling it to take us in here. And that's good. So yeah, now we got this cool looking door. Let's double click on that and go earth temple door, right? We have a sound effect. Wow, that really sounds like a heavy stone door opening, right? So we want, no, where is it? Push? Push a good one? Push. Push? Where's push? Alphabet. P. Push. Okay. Turn it down. Kinda. It needs more bass. What else have we got? We could use earth spells, maybe. You like that for the door? Okay, we'll do that for the door. Yeah. So that's our earth door opening, and then we step forward, and we have this. What have I changed that to? 5120. So I'm just gonna copy that sound effect. All right, over here. I'm gonna paste that in there and delete that other one. We're gonna transfer the player. So we actually don't want it to open straight away, right? We want to have this little thing where well, we need, okay, so we're gonna paste so that we keep all that. We need, if the player decides to come here to the Earth Temple before doing everything that they need to do to actually get the Earth Gem, we need to block the player's progress because they don't have the item. So there's a couple of ways we could do this. We could have two separate event pages, which is what I prefer to do. Again, for me, it's a better way for me to organize how I see everything, and clearly delineate, progress markers for the players. But I could, in the same event, also create a conditional branch that says if the player has this item, do this. So if the player has the Earth Gem, do this. If they don't have it, or if they don't have it, tell the player, make the player say, "Oh, it looks like I need some kind of key," or it's sealed shut. Um, yeah. So the conditional branch is probably like a nicer way to do it. Have it all in one page, but also this isn't like a long running event, right? Like, you know, if you've got something that takes up multiple event pages, then you might want to think about ways to reduce the number of event pages you have. But again, if it's all clearly marked out, so you can look at one page and go, okay, that's when this happens. That's when this happens. It's up to you. It's up to you how you do it. So we're going to do it the way that I'm going to want to do it. So we're going to get rid of all that. So when we look at the door, maybe we'll have a little sound effect play, but we'll, hey, and look, okay, just to show you guys, right? Because we got into this a little bit yesterday where we were using if statements to say, hey, if this certain party member is with you when you approach this door, they will say this. So we could do that. Because it is possible for the player to come here by themselves without any party members and check on this door, or to even, well, no, yeah, they'll either be by themselves or with a full party, but it is possible for them to come to this door just by themselves. So we don't want it to be like a glitch where they go to this door and someone that should be in their party that actually isn't in their party yet pipes up and says, hey, don't do this or whatever. So, okay. It's sealed. And what do we? I wanted a sound effect. Sorry, my brain shut down. We could do just like a little cook. Uh, hmm. Mm, no. Mm, ooh, it's kind of got like a like a magic kind of vibe to it. Like he touches the door and there's like a zoo 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 zoo. What if that's okay? I like that. That's cool. It's fitting too. It's the Earth Temple door and it's an Earth sound effect. It's sealed shut. Then we can go. Guys, I'm meant to be doing placeholder stuff, but this is the fun that you'll have. You'll try to build your skeleton, and as you're going, you'll still want to flesh things out a little bit. Maybe it makes extra work for you because the stuff that you're putting in right now isn't actually going to be there in the final game. But it also may serve as a reminder to you that, at this particular section, you did want to have a little bit of dialogue going on. And maybe it's not the exact dialogue that you want, but in your head, you're like, oh yeah, I want when I interact with this particular door, one of my team members to say, um, you know, uh, where I used to live had a door just like this, revealing a little bit about themselves. So, you know, you can speed run it, do very basic placeholder that has nothing in it just to get from A to B. But you can do this as well. So conditional branch, we say if the rogue, because we're going to get the rogue to speak up because we're trying to get into a door here that's locked. So clearly the rogue should have something interesting to say. So if the rogue's in the party, we could get even more complicated, right? Again, this is just to show this off, right? So we could say if the rogue's in the party, we get the rogue to say, um, doesn't look like something I could pick. But then we say if the rogue isn't in the party, so again, if our actor friend is by himself, he actually says, maybe a rogue could open this. So if the player comes here and they haven't done that, they haven't got the rogue yet, it's a bit of a red herring because they'll go, oh, I just need a rogue and then I can come back here and pick my way in. And then they'll come back with the rogue and he'll say, no, or she'll say, no, I can't pick this. Uh, so, and again, so remember, either we're going to have a full party or we're not. So what I could, for my brain's sake, put in another conditional branch saying if the mage is in the party, do this. But we could just, because we know either the rogue and the rest of the party will be with you or they won't be, we could just add our extra dialogue to this event command, to this if statement. So we could add our mage saying, you know, I think you need a special gem to open it. Right? So yeah. So that's and then so that's if we don't have the earth gem yet, right? And again, remember it's always checking the conditions in order from highest number to lowest. So it will check the event conditions of page 2. So if we didn't have any conditions set, um, event page number 2 will always play first, and you'll actually never see the events of page 1. But if we have this item earth gem condition ticked, so only when they have the earth gem in their inventory can they, it will check if we have it, do this. If we don't have it, do this. So if we have the earth gem, we want a little like cutscene to play. You know, so maybe night is like, so how does this work? You know, the cleric is our wisecracking cleric. The cleric says, and remembering, if we have the earth gem, we have our full party. So I don't need to do conditional, you know, if the cleric is in your party, do this. We know the cleric is in the party. There's no way that you can be here with the earth gem without your full party. So cleric, how does this work? So how does this work? You know, you're not very bright, are you? Okay, cleric's mean. The mage says, just hold it up to the door. Just hold the gem up to the door. So the mage is definitely going to be our smartest person. They're always the voice of reason. The cleric is just sarcasm all the way. Our knight, you know, is kind of our dumb Goku character. Hello? Hello? Okay. What's going on? Why is my stream not going properly? Okay. Sorry. It looked like I wasn't doing anything on the stream. I was like, my stream froze again? Okay. Yeah, our knight is going to be a dumb Goku character. And who else have we got? And the rogue is a rogue. They just want to steal everything, right? Also a little bit of sarcasm in there, but they're not mean to the knight. They're just sarcastic in general. Just hold the gem up to the door. We'll have, so yeah, let's look at, you know, things that that we can do. So we could have a little text here that you hold the gem towards the door. Right. So we got a text that comes up, you know, that narrates what we're doing. You could if you're artistically inclined or have an artist in your team, you could, in this instance, rather than me doing this text, if you hold the gem towards the door, you could use, where is it? You could use the show picture. So you could draw, your art of the knight holding the gem towards the door. Kind of like a visual novel cutscene where it's just a still image of the knight holding the gem towards the door. You could use the show picture command to have that appear on the screen. Um, and then have the next bit play out. So we're holding the gem towards the door. He says that. Uh, so we could do show animation. We're gonna have and again, this is another important reason why you need to name your events properly. Because we want an animation to appear on the player. So you can use any of the animations that you've created. Show picture, my fave command. Yeah, is that how you do your animations, or do you use a plugin? I feel like you use a plugin to put your animations in, right? Because that would just be so painstaking using show picture. My frame by frame animations, I spam show picture and wake commands. Really? Bro, that is dedication. That just took the, like, I already thought they were cool and like great animations, but knowing that you you're doing it the manual way, that puts you right up there, man. That's crazy. Um so we want ooh, what's the flash? I don't remember what these. See, and this is kind of the hard part, right? Of creating cutscenes and things. There's no way for you to test this out as you're building it. You have to go into the game, get to where your event is. I mean, you can make like a debug map where you can place your events, and then you can just like make yourself start in the debug map or have a way to access the debug map. So that way you can just test things out a lot quicker without having to play through the game to get to them. You're just painstaking. Yeah, you see my stuff, you'd know. Yeah, man, that's brutal. I really thought you had like a plugin or something that that you were using, just because I've seen you like export all the frames. Unless that was more for the battle animations. Yeah, so there's no way to quickly test this, right? Which can be frustrating. But again, if you're saving your game, saving it points, so you can just jump in, go straight to your save, and be right there at the event that you need to test. So let's check that animation. What does the flash one look like? Where's the flash? F. F for Fred. No, these aren't in alphabetical order. Okay. Okay, that's good. That's good. So I like that. That's good. That's good. So we'll have that flash. So that flash will play. We might even make it for effect. Just wait for like half a beat more. Wait for 30 frames, and then the door's going to open. We could also, to add greater effect, right? So this big stone door is opening up. Who knows how long it's been since it was last opened? Although the king says, hundreds of adventurers have died attempting to claim this treasure. But right, we want to add some screen shake. Screen shake. We don't want to wait for completion. We want to make it maybe 30 frames. Let's reduce the power and the speed by a little bit. I don't know what this is going to look like either, right? Again, this is, you gotta play around with this stuff first to get an idea and a feel of what it does, and then that way, when you're building your cutscenes and things later, you already have an idea of what the settings are going to look like. So you just kind of got to feel it out. Hi, Maelstrom Aaron. Aaron, welcome aboard. We're making a simple RPG. Nope, well, I haven't seen any plugin that can help me with what I need. Plugins that play GIFs. Okay, according to GIFs, yeah. Plus, doesn't it reduce the quality as well? I mean, that could be part of the aesthetic, but it's fun. Well, that's the thing. As long as you enjoy doing it, as long as it doesn't feel like a chore to do. Okay, so we have. Right, so let's go through this again. How does this work? You're not very bright, are you? Just hold the gem up to the door. You hold the gem towards the door. Shwing! Okay, and that's going to play on the player. Do I make it play on the player? Maybe I make it play on the door. So the door goes shwing. Okay. So, and we've chosen wait for completion, because if I don't, it'll do that animation and it will continue moving through the event sequence without while that's playing. But we want this animation to play and nothing else to happen. So we wait for completion. Then it's going to wait 30 frames for effect. Ooh. Elstrom Aaron, thank you so much for the follow. Really appreciate it. Oh, guys, I forget to do this every time. If you would like to check out this message here, this pinned message, if you would like to have an NPC in this game, just fill out that Google form, and yeah, I keep forgetting. I need to do that. I need to make some more NPCs right now. So we'll finish this Earth Temple door thing, and then we'll get into making some NPCs. Trailer, I think we'll get you together and we'll show off the character generator. Cool. So Earth door flash, shawing. Waits 30 seconds. We could insert a little funny bit here, right? Where maybe we make it like 120 seconds, right? Where the door doesn't open, and our friend here says, he's waiting. So he's like, so is it supposed to? And he gets cut off. So we talked yesterday about these control characters, right? So you can make it, you can make your dialogue wait, but you can also make it that your dialogue moves on without input from the player. So, at the moment, every time a text box comes up, the player has to press the action button to keep moving the dialogue along. But if you have a cutscene where, well, for any of your cutscenes, you may not want the player to move it along at all. You want it all to move by itself, which, can be good cinematics wise to keep the flow of the cutscene going, but it can also be an accessibility thing, because if someone's not able to read the text fast enough, they're going to miss it. And yeah, they'll miss it. Whereas it might not matter if you've got voice acting in your game. But yeah, consider that when you're thinking about the fact that reading is going to be the only way people are going to get the story from your game. You might not want to, you might want to always leave it to player input. But we're going to chuck, where is it? We're going to chuck this in. So what this does is, as soon as the text plays out, it's just going to move on. It's going to close the text box and move on to the next part. So there's going to be this little wait. He's going to start saying, try to say, like, you know, so is something supposed to, and then the screen's going to shake, the door's going to open, and the player's going to move in. So we could yeah, okay. A little bit of comedy, a little bit of humor into what's normally just a normal, the door opens, you walk in. These are things you can do. These are things you can do. You know, it doesn't mean try to crack jokes at every moment. Which one? Are you trying to clip me? You trying to clip me? I don't even know what it sounds like on the mic. Coolies. So. Let's see what that looks like. Let's see what that looks like. See, and this is the funny thing, right? Like, I've walked you through that, and I said, guys, this is what it's going to look like. And we're going to get there, and it's going to look completely different from what I've described. Okay. So, we're talking to the king. We got the earth gem. Oh, actually. Alright. So first we need to test out what happens when we go there without the earth gem. Alright. Also, I haven't made a way to leave. I need to make a way to leave. Okay. It's sealed shut. That sound effect was great. Doesn't look like something I could pick. I think you need a special gem to open it. Cool. So the party's all chipped in. Do I want it to be player touch? Yeah, he's trying to walk into the door. Cool. Okay, so now we need to... It's going to be quicker to load the save. Now we're going to talk to the king. Oh, so guys, you know I've been showing off if this party member is here, say this. It is actually going to be relevant for my game because, as I've said before, as the game goes on, you're going to be losing your party members, but you're choosing which party members you leave behind at each temple. So yeah, there's going to be situations where, depending on your playthrough, you might not have the cleric with you when you approach something. So I don't want the cleric to be speaking if he's not in your party, you know? So it is going to be relevant. So we got the earth gem. You can see it in our inventory there. Oh, I didn't even buy any equipment. Sorry guys. I tried to fix this issue last night. I thought because of all my stuff plugged in with USBs that I needed to change the power management of the USB. But, Oops. Okay, so we've gone to the temple. Our mage has got poison. Okay, so let's see what happens. So how does this work? You're not very bright, are you? Just hold the gem up to the door. You hold the gem towards the door. Ah, so. Ah. So that happened a lot quicker than what I wanted. Cool. So, I didn't think this through. So we want this animation to play out, and before the player goes in. Can you place the flash hammer up? Yes, so that's a thing too, right? That I didn't account for, that I did think of while I was attaching the animation. So with the animations, you can set the animation to be a full screen animation, an animation that plays on the enemy, or is plays on their body or plays on their head. So I think the flash animation is set to a full screen animation, which is why it did that rather than positioning itself over the door sprite. So we can fix that. So that wait wasn't as long as I thought it was going to be. What's an uncomfortable amount of time? Let's say 5 seconds, right? 5 seconds. He's going to start talking. But we want it to wait a beat before it actually moves on. Maybe half a second. So the player can actually read it, and then it cuts him off. Screen shakes. Only for 30 frames? That's half a second. That's not long enough. 60 frames. A second? While the animation plays. The screen will keep shaking after the door's opened, and will wait, and it'll wait another 2 seconds, and then the player will move in. Okay. Oh wait, not yet. We need to fix the flash. Yeah. So see here, in the general settings, position, screen. So let's say center, which that doesn't help. Oh, the sound's died again. Okay. Okay. Let's see how that looks now. If that changes anything. Okay, so we go to the door. So how does this work? You're not very bright. You hold the gem towards the door. There you go. Okay. So, and this is what's interesting, right? So you can you can see what's happening there, but you can still, well, for me at least, and this depends on your own taste, it still feels a bit off, right? Like the timing's not quite where I want it to be to hit comedically, right? And I'm realizing something that I want to do is change the, I want the, so there's going to be a long wait, right? I think that amount of wait time was funny because it gave enough time for you to hear the wind sound effect in the background, to emphasize that, okay, is anything going to happen? And guys, see, this is what I mean. I said I was going to rush through this, and we're spending all this time on a door opening. But again, these are the things that you need to understand if you're going to make a good polished game that has interesting cutscenes and story beats and character moments, this is what it takes. This is the time that you have to put in to make those things happen. And you got to just hope and pray that the player appreciates what you've done. And this is the thing too, right? Like what you're doing, to elevate your game above most RPG Maker slop, we'll elevate your game and we'll put it above, the slop that's out there that is produced, just to get, like H games or whatever, just to get something out there. But just because you're putting in all that extra effort doesn't mean that that the player expectation for what they expect from a good game may still be higher, or you're only just meeting that with all this extra effort that you're putting in. Like the player is not going to bat an eye. They're going to be like, oh, why am I enjoying this game? Like, I'm actually having a fun time with this, even though it's, in their head. And people may not say this, but, it's like an RPG Maker game. It's an indie game. I only paid $3 for it. I'm having a good time. Why is that? And it's because you've put in all this extra effort. But to them, it'll just be, this game's good. This game's all right. So yeah, be prepared. You got to put in all that extra effort, just to get it good enough. But also, if you don't want to put in that effort, that's also fine. Just have realistic expectations for what the reception of your game is going to be. So is it supposed to? So I'm going to have him turn around and look at the party to be like, so like, again, it's another beat, another moment. So let's set movement route. We want to make the player we don't want them to move down, we just want them to turn down. Turn down for what? Yeah, so they're going to turn down, and they're going to, we could put the weight in here. We could also put it outside, but we'll put it here. We'll wait half a second after they've turned around. I really underestimate how quickly half a second goes by. We'll probably end up changing that to a second, right? Well, let's just turn down. So he's facing the rest of the party. So is it supposed to? This, I feel like it was still a little bit off. Like it held the, is it supposed to for just a second, half a second, quarter of a second too long? I said, yeah, do you guys even know that song? You youngins. The whole song is playing in my head right now. Oh, what? Oh, what? Oh, what? So is it supposed to? And then to add some more flair, right? The screen is going to shake. The screen's going to shake first, and then the player character is going to jump on the spot because they're frightened by the door opening. And we may even, can you put balloons in here? No, you have to do that separately. Okay. So he jumps on the spot while the screen is shaking, and we want him to turn back around. Turn around. There's another song for you. So he's going to turn up. Is there a song that has turn up in it? Yeah, so he's going to jump, and then he's going to face the door again. As the door opens. Now, should we maybe make the door opening a bit slower? Because right now it's like it's a smooth animation, which is kind of what you want. but maybe it's a you know. Let's change it a little bit. Let's maybe make it 15, excuse me, 15 frames um between the animations. See what that does. We've got our sound effect. Oh, actually, sorry, we need to make the movement route after the sound effect plays. And oh, but we don't want this to wait for completion actually, because we want this to be happening while the door's opening. Maybe? So it's supposed to, the screen starts shaking. This frightens the player. They turn around. As they turn around and face the door starts opening. The door opens. They wait a couple of seconds. They step inside. Okay. Let's see what that looks like. And, you know, if you got to talk out loud to yourself like I just did to understand what you're creating. Okay. Also, I did like that the flash thing. So remember that if you are using an animation and you wanted it to happen on a specific sprite and it doesn't do that, it just plays over the whole screen, that's what you need to go in there and change. It's not of the gem. Hold the gem towards the door. Wait, what did it? Wait, what? Oh, the party gathered to me. Why did the party? Oh, because I jumped. You didn't even see the jump animation. I didn't even see him jump. Maybe instead of a jump. So we'll get rid of that. We'll go balloon animation. Exclamation point. Wait for completion. So an exclamation point is going to play. Okay, the screen shake is too short. I need this to go for longer. I need this to last at least 120 frames. 150? Okay. All this for a door sequence. Okay. This is supposed to. Oh. Cool. That was great. I want there to be a longer pause before they walk in, though. Maybe an extra 180. I mean, I could even have a bit of dialogue. Like, all right then. All right. And they step forward and go in. Now, once this cutscene is played, we want the player to always be able to just travel. What was my stream manager doing? No, not Discord. Gosh, just play properly. Yeah. Yeah. So he says, all right then, and then we move on. Okay. Coolies. So we need to be able to leave the temple. Right? Um, I want to leave the temple, go back to the world map over there. Okay. Excuse me. Getting to world map. Okay. Nice. And then we've got our leaving Earth temple. Bada bada boo bada 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 boo. Um, what am I doing? To there, right? Okay. So we need to make it that the next time we approach the door, we don't want this cutscene to play every single time. So after all that, we will go self switch, switch way, and we will copy and paste. Now, I could make it right so that uh, they have to hold. It still plays the gem sequence of like holding the gem, swing, because there's not going to be, but that could be really annoying, right? But you could say, for realism, it's just like, well, no, you'd have to use the gem every time you open the door. But no, we'll cut that out. So we get rid of all of that. We'll still make it play slower. Step forward. Okay, that's it. Let's just test that one more time. How does this work? You're not very bright. Hold the door. Beautiful. And we leave. We come back. Oh. I kind of want it to hold for a second. Before the player walks through. Okay. Cool. Guys, let me check something real quick. I'm just gonna remember what my timing is today. All right, I gotta go to 11:30. Yeah, so we're gonna stream for maybe 15 more minutes, and then I gotta go. But so yeah, just a shorter stream today. It was gonna be longer, but things happen. Cool. Let's make some NPCs. Let's make some NPCs. And you know what? I feel like ooh, so um uh trailer. I'm pretty sure your character is meant to be like a guard, right? Okay. Oh, and Silver's here, so we can try to put in Silver's. TJ calls everybody small, big bald beard. he could be a town guard, and that is exactly what he's gonna be. And we're gonna put him sitting right out front of the bar because he's like kind of like a bouncer. No, don't leave. I'm sorry. Has to be done. So let's so TJ is the name of our character. We'll just put a blank one there for now because we need to generate our character. And yeah, so pretty cool thing, although you'll realize pretty quickly that it's fairly limited and not the best looking thing. But RPG Maker, the base engine, comes with the character generator, which you can access by clicking that character generator there. And look, you can make males, you can make females, and you can make only one type of child. Which is very, very strange that they didn't flesh that out more. Like, why even have it at all if the only thing you can make is a little princess girl? Anyway, so what did we say? Big, bald, and with a beard. So are we talking like big? Are we talking big? Ooh, kind of muscular big. Are we talking, you know? This is kind of at my discretion, trailer. I don't know if you're still here, but so we need to get rid of your hair because we want you to be bald. Why just one child though? They hate kids. Yeah. Which, like, I feel like just give the child all of these, or even some of these. Like, obviously not the beards, but you know what I mean. Like these eyeballs, you can just give them to the kid. Weird looking kids. Anyway, trailer self portrait. Yeah. Gosh. Okay. I don't like. I don't like what's happening here with the face. Gentle. Beta. Sigma. Okay. So these are your choices that you have. You can find more of these in the forum. I think it's kind of difficult to get them imported in though. Like, it's not as straightforward as like getting enemy sprites in and stuff like that. I don't know, I've never really looked into it. Look, let's go with the gentle face first, and then we'll see how we feel once we've fleshed out the rest. So big, bald, with a beard. This kind of beard, this kind of beard, this kind of beard. Let's just give him a nice big chunky beard. Also, I don't know what color your hair is going to be, trailer. I'm pretty sure your hair is like brown, right? You have all these weird, not weird, fantasy colors. I don't know why they just didn't give you a color picker, TBH. But I also don't know how hard it is to implement something like that. But yeah, you're kind of limited with your color palette there. Let's give him the dark brown hair. Does he have elf ears? No. So he's a town guard, right? And what did we say? What did we say? He calls everybody small, right? So that's gonna I'll have to incorporate that into his dialogue. And he could be a town guard, right? So if he's a town guard, he's a bit discerning. Maybe he's tired, he's sleeping all the time. The selection of eyes is strange and not the best. Oh, he's kind of Oh, he gets no sleep because he's working the night shift. Is he kind of fed up? Oh, he's beautiful. He's crying all the time. Why are you so tiny? Why am I so big? Happy chappy? Maybe he's happy, and that way I don't have to worry about his eye color. But yeah, look at these eyes. Look at these eyes. Ooh, Like I can see him being like this big, cheerful guy that's just like, "Hey there, teeny tiny person. Oh, you're not getting in here today." I like that vibe. I like that vibe. Eyebrows. Ooh, big chunkers. Big chungus. We going with that? It's kind of giving Buddha vibes. I like that. That is okay. How that looks there compared to how that is actually drawn on the face, those are not the same thing. Wow. So yeah, you kind of quickly get an idea of, it is somewhat limiting what is possible with this character generator. But it's nice that they included it at all. So oh, also your skin color. Are you a bit tanned? Are you a bit pasty? Hmm. I don't think Trailer's here. Phew, he's a ghost. Got a nice tan. Also, if you think there's too much humor in the game, we can replace the Pickle PM enemy with something if you want. I don't know. Dragon Quest is beloved, and it's somewhat serious, but also like as soon as you said Pickle Pierre, I was just like, that's legitimately the name of a Dragon Quest enemy. But they also have Akira Toriyama's artwork to carry it, so yeah, we'll leave Pickle Pierre for now. Um, all right, you're a little bit tanned, all right. You're not pasty. You got a bit of color to you. You're outside in the sun all day, being a town guard. Um, what kind of okay? So we've done eyebrows, nose. Ooh, do you want a big manly nose? Okay. What was the nose that we started with? Is it just this one? That's fine. What about the mouth? Ha 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 ha. Hmm. Oh, 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 silly little person. You want to get in here? Oh. Yee. Mm, mm. Right. And so this is if you use this to generate your characters, like your main characters, you can also continue to edit your so with the face image, right? You can import and export, and then you can layer up your face images. So you could make a set of emotions for your character. So that way, when you're doing cutscenes and dialogue, instead of just that one static image, you can actually pick different faces. You can barely see the mouth with the beard. Yeah, exactly. Um, but yeah, you can do different uh facial expressions to give your cutscenes more pizzazz. And if you are working exclusively with um, the RTP, the default assets, and are using like the default asset like heroes and stuff, like Harold and Lucius and all them. Excuse me. There is there is out on RPG Maker forum, someone paid an artist to create full um, emotion sets for most of the NPCs that you can make, which is pretty cool. Yeah, let's do the ooh, hello there, tiny person. Bags under his eyes, clown makeup. He's got a scar from his adventuring days. Maybe we give him a little scar there, and we can change the color of that, make it a bit more lighter. It's been there for a long time. So beast ears. We're actually going to use this for Silver Doubloon's character, because their character is going to be a cat person. So we'll see how that goes. We can give him wings. So clothing. So this is some very heroic armor, but he's like a town guard. So we want armor, but we want something kind of generic. Kind of like this. Not my favorite. A little bit much, you know, these ones. Leather jacket. What a cool dude. What if we do this, but we change the color? See, this is what's annoying, right? You're like, yeah, brown. I want brown. And then it does this like light brown stupid thing. Silver? Just make it all black. That's silver. I don't know what this is coloring. His shoes? His shoes. His shoes will be brown. Okay. Great. Does he have a cloak? Does he have a cape? Nope. But he could. An eye patch? A mask for COVID? Some piercings? Does he wear a hat? Because he doesn't like people seeing that he's bald. Or is he the main character of a Digimon series? Yeah, cool. I think that's all we need. Glasses. Oh, so intellectual. Okay, I think trailer actually does wear glasses. Should we give him glasses? Yeah, let's give him glasses. Cool. So now we want to export. We need to export. Well, actually, no. First, let's save. Right? We want to save these settings that we've got. Let's create a new folder. NPC. And this is TJ. All right. So that way, if we get trailer back on the stream, and he doesn't actually like the way this looks, we can go back and change it. And you would obviously just do that with just. Did he say he was doing a night shift? No, he said he just woke up. He said he just woke up. So maybe he's having a shower or something. I don't know. Cool. So then we need to export this face image. So yeah, so these are all the face images we have here. We're going to call this one NPC 01, because we're going to end up with more as we create more, and that's exported. And so yeah, so if I wanted to change his expression, you know, so and save, you know, and even change the eyes, right? So he's crying, and I would go import and bring in this, and then I can select this as the next frame and just save it again. And now that's there. So now we have two emotions for TJ. The trailer's a fraud. I haven't been trading myself, so maybe I'm also a fraud. All goods. All goods. So what? We want this. We want this face. And so we'll export the walk character. Same sort of thing. And so NPC 01. Close that. The damage character. So yeah. Let's just do NPC DMG 01. I won't necessarily need this, but it's good to have this, like if I want in a cutscene say maybe for TJ's sub quest, right? Because he's subbed, so he will, his NPC is going to get a sub quest. You know, he's helping us catch a thief, and we come back to him and we see that he's lying down, and we walk up to him and he goes, "Oh, I got attacked," and so we need this sprite saved so that we can use that in a cutscene, and then make it switch to him standing up when we help him up. Battler, we don't need to worry about exporting a battler because he's not going to be an NPC that you can fight with. Maybe I could make that an option, but that's all we need. So that's it. We've created TJ. So now, over here is NPC01. Now we can plonk him in the game. There's TJ. And we'll just briefly, we won't flesh this out too much for now. Hello, little one. And that's all he says at the moment. All right. And we'll have him stepping on the spot. And yeah, so when we interact with him, he'll be there. And there's TJ. You're in the game. Let's check it out. This one? There he is. Trailer's in the game. Hello, little one. Hello, little one. Hello, little one. Hello, little one. Cool. And yeah, look, he turns to the side and we can see him. And yeah, look at him. He's all town guardy. Beautiful. Yeah, I think, yeah, I'll need to cut it off there, guys. Because I got to get ready to go. But, yeah, great progress today. We started our Earth Temple. We made a fun little cutscene. I think I need to really knuckle down and do what I say I was going to do, which is, speed through this stuff. Thanks a little bit, Poker. Really appreciate you coming along. Have a good night or day as well. Yes, we were able to do that. So next time we're gonna make it that you can move through the 3 other levels of the temple. There'll be a boss at the top. You won't actually fight the boss, but we'll have a sprite standing there. And then we'll finally get into the mechanics of bye. Yeah, we'll finally get into the mechanics of next stream is Tuesday. If you want more RPGMaker stream, it's Tuesdays and Thursdays. But I am also streaming on Monday. I'm playing horror games from itch.io. So if that interests you, come check it out. But otherwise, if you're just here for simple RPG, Tuesday. Yeah, so we'll get into the mechanics of dropping off one of our party members and seeing how that affects things. So yeah, coolio. And yeah, we also chucked in an NPC. Beautiful work. Thank you so much, guys. Yeah, appreciate your presence. As I said before, if you're interested in more simple RPG streams, every Tuesday and every Thursday, usually from 8 o'clock Brisbane time. Yeah, depending on how my day's going, I might, if I have the time to, I'll start the stream earlier just so I can, get more done. That is it, guys. Thank you so much for coming. Have a good night. Have a great weekend, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye bye.